But tonight we are, like I said, we're gonna start with Kirby's Adventure. This is one of my favorite Kirby games of all time. It's not a game that is too hard to do. So my history with this game, as far as like videotaping it, you know what I mean, is, well, technically the first time I did, it was a webcam LP. I did it for a Let's Play. And there were a few Let's Plays that I had never ever most of them I redid with better quality. This one I never did. But when I came back to streaming and I did like my 10-year anniversary for like existing on YouTube, I guess. Really, I took a break, so it really wasn't 10 years though. Considering that I've been here for 5 years, you could argue that now it's officially 10 years. I don't know. I started Let's Playing in 2008 in like July. So almost 15 years. But I did a 24, or did an anniversary, did like almost a 24-hour stream, and this is what I did this game during that, to kind of like have it be like all the games I hadn't done a full refresh of, I would do on stream. So but let's go ahead and get started with Kirby's Adventure. Also, bad drawing tutorial. They skip the part where you draw the head and erase some of the finer details. They also they skip the whole owl. But I still won't play. No, that's not a game. This is the last of the revisit. Yes, we're not. I mean, here's the thing: the only other game that would potentially be on the revisit at this point would be Kirby Dreamland 3. That'd be about it. I used to have all the old LPs saved, but I've deleted them at this point. Alright, so this game is like, I don't remember when I like first played this game. I know my mom had, I think my mom and my aunt both had an NES. They bought it like as the new thing. And I remember when I was up at my grandmother's, she definitely had one in her, like, her kitchen's different now, but she used to have like a giant island. Like, her kitchen was not that big, but like most of it was taken up by this giant island that was like this large counter space in the middle, and then everything else was around it. That's since been taken out. But at the time, I remember like the small like television on there, and the NES were playing it on there. But I definitely remember playing it at her place. But I'm sure I played it before, because like I said, my mom did have an NES. A lot of the systems I had initially were like, it's kind of funny, right? Because she bought a lot of the systems for herself. She bought the NES, the SNES, I guess the Genesis too. And then like after that, like she was like, it was more my thing at that point. But it's kind of funny how how something so simple. That's why I worry about like having, if I was to ever have kids, which I'm not, but if I was, it's kind of like scary how like literally anything you do could pretty much influence, you know. Had she not bought an NES, would I be into games? Who knows? I really don't know. I don't really need to be doing this, but I am, because I honestly maybe could use the extra lives. Also because Fat Kirby. No, Fat Kirby! I don't think that's gonna get it. Maybe it will. Nightmare in Dreamland, I think, is a good remake, honestly. I know I bought that because I was like, oh, I loved this game as a kid. And I never was disappointed with Nightmare in Dreamland, unlike DKC3's remake. So I think it's a pretty fun remake, and it's on the 3DS right now. So if you want to try this game, I would say that I do like the art style of this on the NES probably more, but that's just because, like, I mean, I'm just like, a lot of this being one of my favorite Kirby games is because of nostalgia, honestly. Like, I'm not gonna say it's not a little bit because of nostalgia. Also, there's a secret HAL room to the right there if you do some tricks, but we gotta keep moving. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. I still think it's... I don't know if I would ever say it was my favorite Kirby game if it wasn't for, you know, it being like one of my first Kirby games. But I do think it's really good. Honestly, for Kirby's first, like, legit I mean, Dreamland counts, but for Kirby's first, like, hey, I am, I'm making a game, you know, it's pretty good, especially for a late NES game. Okay, I need bomb. Oh wait, no, bomb's not in this game. Yeah, this is the first Kirby game to have copy abilities. Because Kirby Dreamland was just like, hey, we have this cute critter, let's make a simple game. And then they're like, let's actually make something unique with this. And they're like, okay, now Kirby can just eat everything, and he also, or he can eat everything, but when he eats them, he gets powers. It's such a cool idea. Oh, I probably should get that next. Tomato. Are you not gonna work with me, really? Yeah, Superstar added the hats. I think that's probably why people don't care about... What was Kirby's ladder animation there, by the way? That's probably why people don't care about, Kirby and the, Kirby's Dreamland 3, because it really didn't add much to the series as far as, I'm just making sure. Is my syncing good, guys? If I do... Hang on. Ignore the cut screen. If we go Super Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Super Pokemon, we are good, right? I think it's fine. I'm just was double checking after all the tech issues. But yeah, I feel like a lot of early Kirby games tended to add a lot of unique new stuff to it. And yeah, Dreamland 3 added the art style, but it didn't really add much to the series beyond that. Whereas like Superstar is like the first to have hats. And more than just that, but like that was a big thing. It's the first game to have cute critter ends up being evil, which to be fair, again, I don't think that really ended up being a thing until it didn't end up being a staple until like recently, honestly. Hey, Faster Supersonic, welcome. Can we stop? There's also, like, I know there's a secret in one of these doors. There's a door here somewhere. Because we're not going to go for all that, but there's definitely, like, some secrets you can get, which will, while 100% of this game doesn't unlock any secret ending, there is, some, like, bonus rooms and stuff that you can unlock by finding, like, secret buttons. Which I think is a cool way to do secrets. Like, it's not required, but, like, if, you know, you can go out your way to do it. That's one thing I you know, especially in this revisit, I think that Dreamland 2 and 64... 64, honestly, the only reason it was really an issue with 64 is just because I was trying to go fast. Same thing with Amazing Mirror. And I guess in Dreamland 2 it's not really a big deal. But I do think, like, tying 100% to the ending is a little... Oh, dumb's not really the right word. Just a bit much, I guess. Hey, Madam Wario! We get to see the new raid alert too. Welcome. Hope you had a good stream. I was lurking for a little bit, but I was setting up. Saw you're playing Bowser's Fury. Schlium is he? Huh? Calico Kitties. Did you like it? I think it seemed like you were enjoying it. I do not have that game because I bought the game on Wii U, so I didn't want to buy it again just for Bowser's Fury, but it looks fun from what I've seen. But thank you so much for the raid. We're doing the last Kirby Revisit stream, so we're on Kirby's Adventure, and we'll be going into Superstar hopefully tonight and beating both those games before Kirby and the Forgotten Land next week. Let me quickly pause here for a second. Welcome to Kabumik, Madam Wario, Psycho Nacho Man, Schlium, Joyful Ringer, Pixel Plume, Yo Yo Yoshi 95, Phantom Tempest, Armand Shlium, and Matamorio as well. Again. Also, hi, Matamorio. It's super cute. It took me a second to understand. Yeah, it's from what I've seen, it's basically Odyssey in 3D World's engine, kinda, which is interesting. I don't think it's quite Odyssey, but it has some of the similar like DNA to Odyssey. It's like, you know, they were like, oh, well, we made Odyssey, let's just make it again, but with the 3D World engine. But it's a lot smaller than Odyssey, which I think, like, Odyssey can, I mean, I still enjoy Odyssey a lot, but it does get a little bit bloated, and from what I've seen, I don't think Bowser's Fury is that bloated. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a bite-sized game. Wow, I forgot how lame Wispy Woods is in this game. He didn't even get to do anything. Poor Wispy. I mean, he's never really ever threatening. Has there ever been a Wispy Woods that, like, was dangerous? Not really. I guess the one where he moves is a little scary, but Wispy's just, like, hanging out, and Kirby's just always beating him up. I like Wispy Woods, but I have to beat him to beat the game. Also, welcome, Nom. What's up? 3D or Bowser's Fury? No, Kirby is not. Kirby is not. Odyssey in 3D World. This is 3D. This is what 3D World looks like, guys. In Robobot, again, that's like my one biggest blind spot for the Kirby series. But I hope everyone is having a good night. We had a little bit of tech issues, but now we're getting going here with some Kirby. And like I said, I love this. This is like my favorite, one of my favorite Kirby games of all time. Because it was definitely my first Kirby game. I'm pretty sure, unless I just like, if it wasn't my first, it was definitely the first that I beat. Okay, that's me just being dumb. It was definitely the first I beat. I'm pretty sure. Or at least 100%. Because I don't remember when I played Dreamland 3. Because I have distinct memories of fighting DDD in Antarctica. And we did not own that game. So we had to have rented it. I know Superstar, I didn't play, I know Superstar unless we rented it and I just didn't remember it. I don't think I played that until, like, I was collecting SNES games way later in life. Because I don't really remember playing, even knowing that game really existed. It's weird. A lot of the SNES games that everyone's like, is my favorite game of all time, I didn't really, like, even acknowledge too much until later in life, because a lot of my SNES games were games that my mom had gotten for herself, initially. So, like, the Donkey Kong games, Mario World, stuff like that. But, like I know my cousin had games, like I had seen Earthbound a bit because my cousin had it, but beyond that, I didn't really have much of a much experience with like some of the cult classics. Like Mario RPG I didn't play until like college age. And I feel like for a lot of people that's the same, because a lot of people didn't play games until the Wii anyway. Like a lot of people here are younger. Like I'm 32. Well, a lot of people here are younger, and a lot of them, their first, like, even probably this game was probably either played first either via Nightmare in Dreamland, the remake, or on the Wii. So it's not like my experience isn't really that much different. It's just like there are definitely like games I had played way earlier. And it's interesting looking back and be like, wow, there was these big blind spots in my, you know, history of the game. You're doing more Elden Ring? I technically could actually play Elden Ring because I have the Series S, but I don't know. I'm kind of like I don't I definitely like the style of Dark Souls, honestly, because apparently Tunic is actually kind of Dark Souls-like as well, and Hollow Knight is pretty much just Dark Souls, honestly. But I feel like as far as 3D Dark Souls games is concerned, I'm good. I beat the first one. I think I've earned a little bit of a breather. Yeah, no, the tech issues were not fun. I think anyone that streams can sympathize in that. Tech issues are the worst part of streaming by far. Anytime you can just, like, play games on stream without having to do any setup is, like, the best. Because the worst part of streaming is getting the stream to work. By far. Hey, David Alexander. No worries. Do I have it set up that you have to verify Twitch account? I thought I didn't. Well, I mean, I probably should regardless. Maybe I do have it set up for that. But welcome. No worries on the lateness. Hope you're having a good night. It's basically Breath of the Wild Dark Souls. Well, from what I've seen, it's basically just Dark Souls. I mean, I'm sure it's got Breath of the Wild elements too, but that's just being open world. Like, from what I've seen, it's basically like, if you played the first Dark Souls, yeah, it's Dark Souls. So for anyone coming in here, we've been asking a lot of Kirby questions throughout the month as far as people's opinions on, like, you know, power-ups and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of what we haven't asked at this point. You know what we haven't asked? And this is an interesting question. We've asked, like, favorite power-up, but what is your favorite, like, okay, not taking the power into consideration at all, just ignoring the power, like, what it actually does? What is your favorite Kirby hat? Like you just, like, don't even, it doesn't matter what the power does. The power can be absolutely garbage, but what is your favorite Kirby hat, specifically? I mean, sleep is good. In that, like, it has a full battle setup in Battle Royale, which I was looking up the plot to that game earlier, because it's one of those Kirby games that you kind of forget existed because it came out late on the 3DS, and it's just like a fighting spin-off anyway, and Kirby has a lot of those. It's interesting that, so they had a poll for that game, and the winner of it got put into the game as a power-up. And the first one was, the first power-up that won was Mirror. But they did a second poll, and Sleep won that one. So they actually have a whole full, actual, like, battle setup for Sleep that is, you know, that's more than just, oh, you fall asleep, which is kind of cool. I guess, too, when we specify hats, because, like, apparently Return to Dreamland, playing it, I forgot they changed a bunch of the hats up. Because, like, Bomb is, like, different from what the original Bomb hat is. Originally, it's just, like, the Poppy Bros hat. Whereas in that game, it's, like, a party hat. But I feel like, is Cutter always just, like, the duck hat? Because the Cutter hat is pretty cute. Which is, it's from the anime first, before anything else. Crash Kirby? Does Crash Kirby have a hat? The backwards cap, Yo-Yo. Here's the thing is, what's the difference between Yo-Yo and Wheel? Because don't they both have caps? They're both similar, at least. The first Kirby game I played was this one. From what I can remember. Remember, like, memory is a funny thing, because, you know, I played this game when I was young. So I'm pretty sure this is my first Kirby game. At the very least, so the first Kirby game that I bought, acknowledging that it was Kirby, was probably 64, or bought. Remember, I was like 7, or I guess I would have been 9 maybe at that point for Kirby. So, more so gifted, but 64 was the one I was like, I want more Kirby. And I definitely had, like I said, I played Return to Dreamland, or not Return to Dream. Yeah, I played Return to Dreamland back in the 90s, guys. I played Dreamland 3 as I know I rented that game for sure because I remember fighting the DDD fight in that game. But I'm pretty sure this was the first game I played because we had an NES with this game. And regardless, it's definitely the Kirby game that I definitely had the most. Like 64 was fun, but this was definitely the one that I was like when they announced, you know, Return to or Nightmare in Dreamland for GBA. It was a game that I'm like, oh, I definitely want to play. Like, at that time, remakes I was definitely in favor of because there were a lot of games that I had vague remembrances of, or, like, we couldn't play anymore because they just were no longer working. Because, you know, NES is old tech, and, especially at the time, it just wasn't working as well as, you know, compared to like nowadays where systems don't wear out as much, and none of our family was that tech savvy, especially at the time, for like repairing it ourselves. But anyway, so it was definitely it was definitely one of those games that I'm like, I want to play and play it again. Hang on, gotta grab this. Is the video broken again?